Hello, everybody. Hi, Trish.
Hey, Miss Clara, how are you today?
I am doing great. What about yourself?
Very fun. It's been a good day so far. Hey, everybody. Glad you're here.
Hi, Desiree.
So cute. Bring on the hot chicks. Thanks, Desiree.
I'm testing this new feature, so it just puts the comments automatically. So it looks like fun.
Cute.
All right. So, what a topic today. Can you believe, Trish, that only 30% of our LP members use this feature? Word alert. Yes, word alert. Hi, Kelly. Word alert. Okay, it's unlimited and it's available in all List Perfectly plans. Simple, business, pro plus tier 1, 2, 3. So it's just unlimited. We did that on purpose, Trish, even though it took us a lot to code for Amanda. We did that on purpose because we want to help as many people to stay compliant. So let's talk about, this is a continuation, people, of last week's season, the last week session in which we were talking about, I'm going to share real quick here. Okay, you can see cross listing without suspensions, prohibited items on marketplaces. So this is a continuation, but let's talk about a little, Trish. We tap a little. Hi, Tommy. Hi, Crystal. We talked a little last week about the Vero list, this magic list that when I go and I see it, what happens then all of a sudden it's not on the list, but I still can get an item taken down, so a listing takedown. What's going on? Can you elaborate? Because we need to, I think we need to elaborate more on that topic, Trish.
Yeah. I mean, and this came up this morning in Mastermind. So this morning in Mastermind, and anyone, most of you guys know I run a mastermind class for List Perfectly, and we meet every morning 9 Eastern, Monday through Friday. And this week, we spent an entire week on scaling your business. And it was really a great week. It was really, I thought it was very informative. But one of the things that came up today was about the Vero list and how it really works. And I just want everyone to realize that just because a company is on that list does not mean that you can't sell their products.
Right.
So when you go in, there are hundreds of items on that list. Not items, I'm sorry, companies on that list. It's not item specific, it's company specific.
Right.
So Vero equals, verified rights owners, right? So that is for the person who owns the patent, the person who owns the product. They get to go in there. So I just for a quick thing, I looked up before we started this, and Abercrombie and Fitch is on that list. Now, there is not anybody here who thinks we can't sell Abercrombie and Fitch, right? Well, especially as a clothing seller, most of you guys, if you've been selling for any length of time, you have sold Abercrombie and Fitch. There is nothing that says you can't sell anything. They are on that for their own reasons, right? So Clara's showing verified rights owners program. That is an episode that Doug and that the Reseller Community podcast did with Julian. I think it's Dudo. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry.
You're probably.
No, I think, okay, I'm pulling this out, okay?
But however you said his name, we really appreciate you coming on. He's the Global IP Senior Brand Manager for eBay, and he comes on and explains it. So this would be a really great podcast to listen to about the program if you are not confident in what it means. But what I want people to understand is just because a company is on that list doesn't mean that you can't sell their items. So Abercrombie and Fitch is on there for probably because they had a problem with either counterfeits or they had a problem with stolen goods. And so they registered so that they would have some recourse when they needed it. It does not mean that you can't sell their items. So just make sure when you're looking at that list, you realize that this is not an end-all be-all list. We all know that Velcro is a word that can get you flagged. But if you are selling if you're selling a package of Velcro, right, from the manufacturer of Velcro, 3M, you may be able to use the word in that. So it all depends. It's very nuanced.
Yeah.
So most of us are not saying Velcro, we say hook and loop because we don't even want to have to deal with it, right? So just remember, just because it's on that list, it's much more nuanced. It's not a black and white issue. And I sometimes think people want it to be a black and white issue. And some of it, absolutely. Thank you, Tommy. Tommy is 100% right. It's also about their photographs. So if you are using, their product photos, right? Yeah. Some of the companies don't want you to do that. And we understand why. They paid to have them taken. It's their models, et cetera, et cetera. And so they'll put them in that program so that they can be like, hey, you're not using my stock photo. Stop using my stock photo. Has nothing to do with the product. You can still use the product, but they don't want you to use the stock photos.
Right. Absolutely. So that's the thing, that compliance is a very delicate issue, and losing your top rated seller or seller with high content, with high status and everything else that eBay gives you, or Poshmark. In this case, you could be, your closet could be suspended. We all know the situation that I'm helping Depop sellers now, because they're getting suspended for butter knives. So you would be able to customize to List Perfectly give you an alert about knives, so you can put as many variations. I'll be honest, because I was a vintage seller and my money on summer, I discovered to be vintage tees from rock and roll and everything. I cannot even tell you how many times I put a purple shirt instead of a purple shirt. I didn't get suspended. Oh my goodness, I can't believe I did. And I would be horrible. And happened to me. And then cross-listing, you guys gotta imagine, it's back in 2016. I'm the first one to have this cross-listing. I had, that error in my website, on Etsy, on Poshmark and eBay. And that's when I was like, no, I can't. Back in the day, we didn't have an update feature. So I have to delete, release, edit, correct. And then, it was just awful, Trish. So,
that's an interesting thing, because if you're a fast typer, or if my husband would say fat finger it, like you just go, and I'm dyslexic. So sometimes there are things that I constantly switch the letters on. I could customize word alert to the things that I screw up, right? So for you, it would be not adding the R where an R needed to be, right? So that, and for me, it can also be that I am, right, Beth put that word on hers also.
Yes.
So if you're somebody who knows a little bit about yourself, and you say, this is something I do all the time, you can set up your own word alert to help you be better as a seller. And it's customized to you.
Yep. Absolutely. Because maybe I am licensed by eBay to sell Velcro. You never know. So that's one of the reasons that List Perfectly hasn't hard coded so many words, but just know that automatically List Perfectly will alert you when you're because you can cross list from marketplace to marketplace. You don't even need to import to List Perfectly. But if you import to LP, we'll give you that word alert, because they will detect that you're sending for example, if you're listing a Poshmark listing and you're sending it to eBay and then says Poshmark, there you go. That's a big problem.
You don't want to say you do not want to put the other platforms
in. You don't want to put Poshmark on eBay or eBay on Poshmark. They're very adamant about that.
That's right. I also can't type the word leggings. I type leggings every time. So she could do a leggings. So when she misspells something, it pops up and to go back and fix it.
Right.
And you can also use it for other things. If you use the inch, we use the two quotes for inch instead of the apostrophe. And I, for a little while, would always just do the apostrophe. And so I went in and I did the apostrophe. Now, sometimes there is an apostrophe, but not enough that it made a difference in the way I used it. So I would do that to make sure that I had the right, what I wanted to put in. So you just have to be a little bit aware about how it helps you and how you can use it to your best advantage.
Exactly. And I love what Beth is saying, because sometimes, especially me that I speak multiple languages, especially, it's so easy to misspell for me whole and a whole, it took me a while to learn the difference. Okay. And Amanda was just manually correcting that. I'll never forget. But now I wish I would have had word alert back in the day. So that's the importance, that sometimes we know ourselves what we're going to be misspelling, and you can proactively set list perfectly. Right. To give you an alert. Okay, we're not going to prevent you from listing, but you're going to have definitely like alerts and pop-up telling you, hey, this is not allowed on this marketplace. So that's important. So I'm going to, if you're not a list perfectly customer, okay, worries not, okay, because we have free resources for you, and all you have to do is go to our landing page. Then we go to blog, and then you can find that we have here, stay compliant, sell confidently, meet the word alert setting, enlist perfectly. Right next to it, the next blog post is what you can't sell, guide to prohibited items on eBay, Poshmark, Mercari, Etsy, and Depop. Then I did a special one about Depop prohibited items guide. This I run with Team Depop just to make sure I had it right. And there, the one thing that they told me, Trish, is do not use stock images on Depop, okay? They do not like that. They do have a very good technology to detect stock images on Depop.
So stock images are really a controversial topic, I think. You know, there are some of us who, I'm going to say, came up in the time where stock images were very looked upon, you know, we were very frowned upon using stock images. But if you came from Poshmark, right? If you came to this business through Poshmark has a plethora of stock images, and they still do. And so you have to be careful, because Posh is fine with the stock images, right? eBay can get very touchy. It depends on who they're from. Sometimes you can use a stock image on eBay. Sometimes you really can't. And then Depop doesn't like them at all. Depop wants you to take all your own photos. So one thing I would say to you guys is each platform has its own picadillos, right? And so you just kind of have to figure that out as you go along. But another thing that you should really be hyper aware of, in my opinion, is if any of the platforms take a listing down and say, I'm taking this listing down because there's something wrong with it, right? They don't necessarily explain to you what's wrong with it. And so you're kind of like, oh, crap, what did I do? You have to figure out why it took it down. Do not, under any circumstances, just put it back up immediately. And also don't think, oh, I'm selling this. I look in and, well, 20,000 other people are doing it. Don't do it. It is not worth the risk to your account. Your account is worth more than whatever that one listing was. Figure out why they took it down. Is it stock images? Is it a certain word? Is it a prohibited item? Are you using the word onesie and you didn't realize that, you know, Gerber doesn't want us to use the word onesie? You know, you just got to figure out why it was taken down. And if you can't, bring it to one of the groups. Put it in a group. Put it in the LP group. List perfectly group, and come in and say to the people in there, hey, why did this get taken down? Can you guys help me figure out why? And let the group mind come in and say to you, oh, we think it's because of this. And then you can fix it and put it back up. Kelly is absolutely right. She wrote, repeat after me. Account health, account health.
Yep.
Right? That is worth its weight in gold, is your account health.
Yep. So what we need to be extra careful, I think, okay, is that in case you're new to list perfectly, don't worry. We also have a way to show you really quick how simple this is, okay? You can go to the site menu that I'm going to show you, all right? And then we're going to go to settings, and then we'll set it up from there. But I want to show you how important. I invested a lot of money on this guide to list perfectly. It opened a new window. Hold on a second. Okay, let me open
the
this.
Joys in technology.
Yeah, it says open a new window, so I want to make sure. So can you see my help center, List Perfectly Help Center?
Now I can. Yes, I can.
Beautiful. So we just type Word, all right? And you see there it is popping up already, Word Alert Settings. So we have a great great instructions for you. What is it? Word alert setting is a smart feature that helps you catch unwanted or problematic words or phrases in your listing descriptions, titles, everywhere before they're cross-listed to other marketplaces. One of the ways you can detect, okay, is a friendly pop-up that will appear. And this friendly pop-up will look just like this. So we're going to tell you prohibited words detected in your title, for example, Poshmark, Velcro, lithium, prohibited words detected in the description. So you see, we can detect it on the title, on the description, you name it, we will detect it and give you that alert as you are cross-listing. So you can, before you publish, this is the nice thing, before you publish, you can have this resolved. So that's very, very important that we understand. So one of the ways we can go ahead and set up word alert, it can be done through the extension, or you can do it directly from the main menu. So main menu, all you're gonna do is click settings, extension, and there it is. We're going to open a menu for you to go ahead and customize it. So there is two things to understand a difference. One thing is the generic, okay? We're in the general. This is the tab that we're right now. So here we can customize, and this is going to be for all marketplaces, okay? So that means that when you enter here generically, this alert is going to be displayed whether you're cross-listing to Poshmark, eBay, etc., Shopify, etc. But when you go, for example, to Poshmark, okay, we can customize what is not allowed on Poshmark. You don't need to put eBay because we already did it for you, and List Perfectly is adding more words. But I have on eBay ammunition, CPAP, EMS, firearms, police uniform, tents, Velcro. So this is some of the things you can do. And then we can go to Depop and customize it. Okay, knife, okay, knives. All you do is hit enter, okay? Knife, because you can even the misspelling you want to enter, okay? So you see on the right-hand side how we're saving this to your account, and that's it. You do it once, and it will stay forever in your account. It's unlimited. This is unlimited, all List Perfectly plans.
And, you could also use it. Let's say you have a Shopify store and you only want to put certain things in your Shopify store. You could give yourself a word alert that says like, hey, Desiree, do you really want to do this? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you could use it to your own advantage. Use it the way that would help you. And also, I just would like to say, just because you get an alert and it pops up, you can just X out and ignore it. You can decide, I'm good with the way it is, and keep going. You don't have to change anything. There's no modification that needs to happen when you get one of these alerts. You're able to just keep going if that's what you want. But use it to the way that would help you.
Right? Yeah, absolutely. And I want to emphasize, tagging along with what you were saying, Trish, this is, if you're thinking this is for pro sellers, oh no, this is for pro, advanced, intermediate, and beginners. If you're a beginner, with more reason, you should be using this. I cannot even tell you, for example, me, Navajo, I got in trouble for putting the term Navajo with eBay on 5 listings. So those were 5 listings that got taken down, and they sent me such a message that I was like, okay, I'm never gonna sell that again, so I learned to put Southwestern style, even if I knew, because I'm in Arizona and I'm sourcing, that's the Navajo land. Big part of Arizona is part of Navajo land. So even if I knew, even if I bought it from the same Navajos, if I don't have the permit or the license, I'm not allowed to do that on eBay. So I learned the hard way in order to stay compliant. So this is a great tool, especially now that the season, the Q4 is coming. The good news is that you don't need to delist and relist in order to do this. So you can use just enter the new words, and you can do maybe updates and see, how it's going on, because List Perfectly will detect this. And what is most important, okay, it can be done for older listings, new listings, and it's unlimited again. So I just want to make sure that we are giving you the right tools so you can have a strong Q4, and starts now.
I just want to, Kelly wrote, the Artful Journey, she wrote, to Clara, this doesn't tap into eBay's no words. We need to type in our own. So I just would like to say off the bat, there is no magical list from eBay. Unfortunately, eBay does not give us a list. If eBay gave us a list, Clara would put it in.
Wouldn't that be awesome? And that's part, listen to, I heard everybody, you need to listen to that podcast that I entered earlier, here it is, because talks about how there is no list. And just because something is not on that list, that doesn't mean you're not going to get suspended.
Well, and so here's the thing. And I also would like to say, eBay is not suspending you for making a mistake.
eBay, many times I almost got, because I did like 5 listings. So yes, and then I have to get because I literally got suspended. I have to appeal, and I explained that, hey, it was 5 listings that I did at once. So I did get in trouble. Okay.
Yeah, you can get slapped. You can get your hand slapped, absolutely. But you'll get in trouble when you ignore things more than. So if eBay takes things down and you put them back up, that's a way to get in trouble. Or if you do it over and over and over again. But I just would like to make sure everybody realizes there is no list. If there was a list, we would absolutely put it in, and we would absolutely do it right off the bat. So the words that Clara has already kind of front loaded in, those are words that we know eBay doesn't specifically like, right? Like firearms and things like that. Yep. So these are words that we know eBay doesn't like. So Clara has added those to Word Alert for everybody. So if
slowly, we're adding slowly, not yet. Okay. I'm starting to, and we just started, I think I just put like 5, 6 words. We're just testing slowly and see how our members are going to react, because we have also big clients, including thrift stores, okay, that sometimes, they're licensed to do these products. So that's something that we're analyzing with much care, how to protect you guys because at the end of the day, it's not that I'm going to stop you from listing. I just give you the warning and you decide what to do.
Right. But I just want to make it clear that none of the platforms are that specific. And I wish, part of me wishes that the platforms were a little bit more open about these kind of topics. Right. But let's be honest, eBay wants to get items sold, right? eBay makes money by us selling items. That's the only way they get paid. eBay isn't selling items of their own. eBay isn't doing anything of their own. They're only making money when we make money. So they don't want to prohibit us from selling anything, and especially when it could be a licensing issue or anything like that. Ivory isn't a good example, right? If I went to go sell ivory, it would be difficult, or maybe even impossible. But if an antique dealer who can show provenance, that the ivory is from the 1800s, it's already been sold, I have all the receipts, blah, 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 he may be able to sell ivory. Right. So some things are prohibited for me, but not for somebody else.
Yeah. Right. So that's very important to clarify that we give you the capacity to customize this word alert, because we're not sure yet, okay, how this is affecting all the customers of List Perfectly. So we want to make sure that you guys can do it generically or for specific marketplaces. And that's the power that List Perfectly gives you. There is no extra fees for this on any of the plans. So it's as important that you keep on daily basis. If you can add or learn or anything, just control your word alert, make sure that you're staying compliant. Robin, I wish I would have had for you. Robin is, she's just, it was a butter knife, okay? And she got in trouble. I think Robin got in trouble, and she's like, I wonder if a pencil is okay in people. Because it could be used as a weapon, right?
That's a problem. That's a problem. I also wish that some of the platforms would be a little bit more open to discussing things and not being so black and white about things, because obviously, a butter knife isn't what they're trying to keep off their platform. Right. And so being able to, I wish they were a little bit more open to having these discussions.
Well, they're being open-minded. I have to say, I'm impressed with Depop. eBay has done a great job, I think, communicating a little better. Back in the day, we were not even allowed to ask if there was a list. Remember?
Yeah.
No, even, you don't even ask anything about Vero. It's there, okay? So just know that they can protect their rights. So, but I think that marketplaces are becoming much more open. Look at what Poshmark did with excessive listing policy. So they were very, very adamant that they would enforce this new policy, and so they did. And I keep saying this, careful. If you think that that Poshmark went too far, eBay is going to go the same path, and they announced this in front of Trish on the eBay meetups. So that's something that is very, very important. Account health, and just focusing on what makes your business grow, and let technology give you those alerts so you can be with confidence, because it's crucial. As salespeople, we have to have confidence that our process, that our standard operating procedures are compliant with marketplaces, policies, and guidelines.
So Veta wrote, would you say there's a difference between putting back up listings they email you that they're taking down versus the listings that disappear like socks in the dryer? So Veta has a very good point. I think there's a huge difference between the two. One of them, eBay is specifically doing and emailing you and saying, we took this down, and they don't really tell you why a lot of the times, but they took down a listing. And so the other ones that are like socks in the dryer, I think eBay doesn't even really say that happens, even though everybody knows it does. We all know that when you do, your end of the year inventory or even a random spot check, you will find something that's on List Perfectly that is not listed on eBay anymore, even though you didn't take it down.
Yep.
I would not worry about those at all. If you find those and you never got an email about it, put it back up. That is not what we're talking about. We're only talking about
message eBay. Hey, I had this list. Always what I would do, maybe the lawyer in me, Trish, I don't know.
Probably, because
we're volume. I'm not volume seller like Trish, okay? So for me, if one of my listings would disappear, Vida, in the sock in the dryer, right? For me, I would message eBay first and say, hey, I had this listing, I had list clothing at that back in the day, and I had a backup of my listing. So I knew exactly what they took down. And like you said, sometimes they notify you, sometimes they don't. So when in doubt, I just go first to customer service and ask what happened with this listing. And they would be like, no, we don't, you know how it is. No, we don't know. We don't show any record of it. And I'm like, okay, no problem. And then I release. So I think that being very careful, because sometimes marketplaces can err or can miss communicating what was the reason of the listing removal. And that could happen.
Yeah, I mean, I think that if it's in the Vero program, you're going to get that email. And I do think that is because they need a paper trail, like a legal paper trail. Right. So they want to be able to say, we told you to take it down. And I also know that they use that email to show whoever the Vero owner is, right? Yep. So, if you owned, if Clara and I owned Abercrombie and Fitch, and we are like, we want these taken down, they will then, those emails are then processed as in, you get to say, we took this many down, we took to this many people. Right. So Clara is, on the safe side of things, Clara is 100% right. But I never did it. I just always put it back up. But I never.
We're different sellers. My average sold price was $200. So you see, it just, for me, that was the reason that I'm not gonna get in trouble, for this listing when I have Q4 coming around the block.
Yeah. And my average sale price is $20 or was. It's up high. It's a little higher now, but not much. Yeah, but for me, anything that I didn't get a direct email on, I would just put it back.
Yeah. So the clear actions that I want you, audience, to take away from this, okay, customize for each platform. That's I recommend you. There is a reason why. And again, these are, as a reseller, we're not developers trying to create a solution for you. We're resellers that we taught ourselves how to develop technology. So just want to give you a perspective as someone that knows what is to pay the mortgages with just the income as a reseller. So, and knows what is to lose, okay, a top-rated seller status right before Q4. before, okay, which has happened, okay, and nothing more painful than that. Definitely affects your visibility, affects so much on your business, and definitely throws off the projections that you have as a reseller with your earnings. Also, okay, use Word Alert as a teaching tool with your team or VAs, because you can also put it on the sub account. We have the Pro Plus plan. If you have VAs, make sure that your VAs are using Word Alert. Give them a list, unlike eBay or the marketplaces. Yes, you have this power of giving them a list, or you can even control that with the main account. Yes, you can do that for them, or you let your team create that list and enter it in Word Alert list perfectly, whether it's main or sub account, right?
Yeah, and that's a really great. I hadn't thought about that till you just brought it up. That's really great, because we had used all week. We talked about using hiring help and how using VAs and how you can do it. And all week we talked about scaling and going to the next level. And
You're
a lot
right.
of the
You are worried about hiring someone because they can get us in trouble. You're right, Trish. That is so true. I remember the fear and the concern, because my policy was, when I discovered I could hire young college people for doing my listings, and they were so happy doing it, because it was back in the day, 10 years ago, working virtually was like something really huge.
Really big deal.
Yeah, you brought a good point, Trish. Thank you for bringing that up.
Well, I mean, it's just it's really an interesting thing, because then it gives you a little bit more control, right? You know, and then it's also, I think, exactly what you're saying. It's a teaching tool. I don't want these words in it. And you could also use it for things that, like new.
Like new. Oh, if I had
right?
Yes.
So, you know, you could use it as a teaching tool for like new or other things that you don't want in your title. Right. There was a time where, and you still see it on eBay, where people would do look, and they would do the L and then the at signs and then the K. Like, don't do that. You're just wasting 4 characters, you know. And so those kind of things you could use it for, as if with your VAs. It's a good point.
Yeah, there is people that back in the day, I don't know if they're still doing EUC, excellent use condition.
Yes.
On the title, and I'm like, no, okay, that's not gonna make you sell faster, increase your visibility, or get more watchers, impressions, or views. Okay, so yeah.
Same with NWT, new with tags. I don't think most people know what that means. New people know what new means, but I don't think the new with tags acronym works either, personally.
Exactly. So yes, that's a great thing to enter acronyms that you don't want your team or yourself. Maybe you're trying to break away from improve your process, and you're trying to break away from a step that was setting you back in your listings. And it's hard when you want to describe better, especially now with the era of AI, where List Perfectly creates your listings automatically from 1 to 6 images. It's crucial that you have a Word Alert that is customized to your business needs, because I think that's the biggest error, that people think that AI will replace you, when actually AI, it's in its infancy. And even though we train our AI for 2 years, okay, still we're firm believers with Amanda that needs human review. So absolutely, but it's like, slow down, make sure you're being compliant, and enjoy peace of mind. You need peace of mind. You need control over your listings, and it's included in all plans.
Jill Mustachia just put in the chat that she used it for shirts, as often leave out the R when I'm typing, just like you did, Clara. You're in good company, Jill. You're in good company. That's what Clara used to do.
And then imagine, guys, I could, everybody knows that I use Instagram to funnel all the traffic, okay, to my eBay stores and my website, etc. And List Perfectly does this for you when you cross-list. So imagine when you enter that word, and it goes even to social media platforms. I know, Trish, I have to tell you, it was brutal, girl. It was brutal.
Well, it's an amusing brutal. I mean, it's amusing now when we look back on it.
Trish. Love you, Kelly. Love you.
Kelly, I thought we were friends. I thought you were on my side, Kelly.
They don't pronounce the R's in Boston.
We don't. We do not like that.
The khaki, okay.
Khakis.
All right, everybody. What a great session. We're going to be wrapping this up. Thank you for watching us. I want to give you a reminder that we're going to do an after party. We're going right now to listing party. And, you know, we do the list perfectly word alert, stay compliant after party. This is the one that you're going to be choosing. And this is, we love doing this because now no longer you can be just in the chat. I can speak and chat with you in person. So I'll see you there. Thank you, Trish. Thank you, everybody. And have an amazing weekend and many sales. Bye, everybody.